the 100 Season 3 Episode 8 Terms and Conditions. Now, I think this episode, by the end of it, definitely did something that was really interesting. For one, of course, we have both our characters in this internal Arcadia struggle with Kane on clearly the good side, the smart side of things, and then Pike and, kind of sub issues with Bellamy switching things around and stuff, some of the other people that were with Pike. We have both these characters who, in the very beginning, are like, we aren't going to kill our own people. For Kane's side of things, it's like, we're not going to just kidnap Pike and then send him off to the Grounders, which is what they say in the beginning. It's like, hey, you guys do this, basically everything's said and done. And he's like, not going to do that. Pike, of course, his whole thing is like, we're not on the Ark anymore. We've got much bigger issues than you committed a crime and now we get rid of you because, we need all the oxygen we can get. It's us versus them. And by the end, they both switched because Kane's mission, which came after like 3.5 different twists, which I wasn't expecting, his mission does end up being he's going to kidnap Pike and take him to the Grounders and let them kill him to resolve this issue. But of course he stops because he's not going to run through Bellamy. And Pike even says, like, you should have killed me yourself. And then, of course, he's, committed to death or sentenced to death for high treason, basically. So they both change by the end of this episode. And I don't think we're going to lose Kane. I really hope we don't. I am a bit nervous, to be totally honest, but I'm hoping we don't lose Kane, and I'm thinking that we won't. For one, we just recently lost a character. We lost Lexa, so I don't believe they'll kill off another recurring character, so soon after, especially one who's been in the show since the very beginning, and we just lost, two at the same time. But they could do it that way, where we lose one, sort of grounded character, which we have very few. We only had Lexa, Indra, Lincoln, and then Lincoln's buddy, whose name I can't remember right now. And we may or may not have the Prince, and the Ice Nation may or may not come back into play. So we'll kind of have to see about that. But we lost Lexa, and I guess technically we also have the Flamekeeper now, since he's gonna be sticking with whoever the commander is. So we only have a couple of those characters to begin with as far as important grounded characters, but we already lost one of them, and they could do it where we lose one from both sides. And I feel like we're going to lose Pike, but with this show being the way it is, if they wanted to do something totally insane, they could end up doing it where Kane does die. And I really hope he doesn't, because I really like his character. He and Murphy, both complete a-holes in the beginning, and then they have transitioned into characters where it's like, I really root for both of them to make it and just have better things happen to them, because Kane is like a complete 180. All he wanted was to be Chancellor in the beginning, and he sets up all this stuff and everything's like, I want to take over, float this person, float that person, treason, treason, treason. That's all his character was. He was the one you hated. And then things just changed, and it's like, he's a great guy now, and it's just funny thinking about that. And the same with Murphy, and I mentioned that before. It's like, they were both just the douchey characters, one for the sky, one for the ground, and now they've just transitioned so well and survived, so they've become fairly important characters. So hopefully we don't end up losing Kane. I'm pretty sure we're going to lose Pike at some point, which I think we all want, because Pike is just making idiotic calls, and it's like, okay, he's doing it because he thinks it's protecting his people, but obviously with the things he's done, especially with his first big mission after he became Chancellor, it's just like, let's go kill off these 300 people sent to protect us, because I guess he's just so stupid he couldn't accept a simple fact, like, there's certain grounders trying to attack us, other grounders are trying to protect us, and let's go slaughter all of them. So clearly no one wants him around anyway. As far as us viewers, we all kind of hate him. Kind of makes us hate Bellamy, because he's like a bit of a catalyst for that, especially like the failure with Mount Weather. It was just a huge moment for Bellamy to kind of switch to Team Pike. So fortunately, in this one, there was that redeeming moment at the very end of the episode where it's like, Monty talks to him, is like, hey, what about these two people who were working with Kane, which we know because we got, all the information, and he lies to his mother, like, we don't know if anybody else was working with him. So I have the tiniest bit of hope for Bellamy now, and I was so happy to see him do that. And what made it even better is that he said the same thing he said at the beginning of the episode, which was he makes his decisions for his people. He does that every day. He makes the decisions that he feels are best for his people. And that's what he does every day. So that's what he did at the beginning when he killed the two grounders. And then he says the same thing at the very end because he realizes that despite everything Pike has said, he is now ready to sentence people to death if they commit treason. And I'm kind of surprised that that makes him switch because it just makes sense to me personally. I think it makes total sense that Pike would sentence someone to death when their whole mission was like, I'm going to kidnap you and take you to get killed by other people. It's like, that just makes sense. But obviously Pike's issues in general just stem from idiocy, so it doesn't really matter at this point, like, oh, I should sentence him to death. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong because everything they've done has been just stupid and wrong anyway, so it doesn't matter. But the point of Bellamy switching in general gives me hope for him, and I'm glad he's turning around. And I know a lot of people really hated the fact that Bellamy seemingly did just kind of switch out of nowhere. I mean, he definitely had his reasons, especially the Mount Weather stuff, but still just not good enough to just start massacring people and ignoring the fact that these are people sent to protect us, and there are good grounders and bad grounders. That's just how it's been. So hoping, the little bit of hope that he just turns around and he realizes he's been on the wrong side so far. Seems like he did because he didn't turn in everyone when they found out, you know, what was going on. So I'm hoping that does take place, but definitely enjoyed all the crazy politics for this one. Like I said, the sort of constant switches as to what is and isn't happening, I really enjoyed that because it's like, alright, so Pike and his crew, they found the piece, they found the bug, so they set up this fake thing, trick Kane and the people he's working with. Sinclair gets arrested, like, crap, they busted him, they're, you know, they can't officially prove that anything was happening, but Sinclair took off. So it's like, alright, he's been captured, that sucks. And then it's like, nope, we knew that was happening. I'm here to send Lincoln a message. It's like, okay. Just, I loved all the little twists that they had going on there. So I enjoyed that. All the spying, everybody was spying on everybody. Boyfriends spying on boyfriends. We got people finding bugs, people knowing other people found bugs, which they don't really explain how they knew that that was a trick, unless I missed like a really quick scene. They never really explained that. They just knew that they were tricking them. But it doesn't matter. I think it turned out really well. It turned out good as far as an episode. I enjoyed it, but I don't think we're going to lose Kane. I hope we don't. And if we do, I have no idea what to expect from Pike after that, because I just wouldn't really know what to think. I don't really know what would take place afterwards. It's a little weird we didn't see Abby at all in this episode. Maybe just something happened, the actress just, she couldn't be in this one. But it was really weird. Obviously, anything in Arcadia, you would think all of the main characters should be in that episode. But weird that she wasn't. She's not, obviously she's not with Clark, unless she's in between, which I don't believe she is. She might be, though. I can't really remember where certain characters are, but I'm pretty sure they're not, because it's been, you know, they've already done the day thing. So if she'd been killed or she was outside of the thing, that would have been a big deal. So she's in camp, just not in this episode, which was really weird because obviously such a huge thing happened. And it's like, huh, it's really weird that she's just not in this one. But we have all the politics stuff going on, and then we have a really, really great moment with Alie and Raven, and I love that. I could not believe it happened, but I was so happy that it did, because we get, you know, seemingly it's like, alright, everything's going according to Allie's plan. It's like, alright, I need part 2 to my AI. Let's figure out where it is. Jasper is the one who can definitely do it because he wants to feel no more pain. And then we find out that if people kind of think about it, or if they're kind of pushed to think about certain things, then they will realize that they're kind of drained of themselves. They aren't just like, oh, I don't feel pain anymore, or I only feel the happy parts, because that's how it started out. It was like, oh, I only feel the happy parts, like, oh, my first kiss and stuff. And then right after that, Raven's like, what was my first kiss? And she's realizing, like, she doesn't remember Finn or anything about him. And I was so happy that that happened. I was like, okay, that gives me hope that maybe, like, once again, a little bit of hope that somehow Jahad could possibly be saved. it would be really awesome, actually, if Murphy was the one that ended up saving him, because they've kind of had this weird journey looking for the City of Light, and then Murphy's the one that ultimately destroys it and, saves Jaha from just the crazy mind warp that's going on with him. So, certainly love the fact that Raven was able to fight off the fact that she's kind of being mind controlled, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it because it shows that Alie is consciously controlling these people. It's not like, oh, they take this and it's like a crazy super drug. It really is Alie forcefully controlling their minds and forcefully like taking away, the bad parts and trying to make them realize like, oh, everything's super great, I'll definitely help you. It is full on mind control, which I kind of could tell. I just assumed it was kind of like a drug sort of thing, and then they could also see the AI at the same time because it was part technology. But this kind of shows it's just full on like mind control. This thing is like in their brains and taking over them. But really love that. Can't wait to see how all that stuff plays out, because we now have Raven, who has somewhat at least broken free, because there was ultimately she did break free of Allie's control, but there was that moment where Allie's like, just take it and leave, and her hand was like shaking because she was trying to get the drive, but ultimately she shuts it all down and walks away. So she has this visual connection to a character that everyone who's still completely sane can't see. So she's on the inside, but I'm assuming she's sane because she, broke free. She'll probably still be going like back and forth. It won't be like she just completely broke free and that's all there is to it, because Alie is still in her head. So we'll probably see a bit of turmoil, but I think we might get Abby in the next episode, and Raven will be like, hey, this is everything that's been happening. I realize I don't even remember my boyfriend, anything like that. So I'm hoping that's how that plays out, but I still think somehow Allie's going to end up getting to her second component of her AI, and I believe I mentioned before, like, they could do something where she became physical. It probably wouldn't be the same actress if they did that this way, but with what we found out in the last episode and how the second form or second part of Allie's AI, or basically Alie 2, is put inside of the commanders, if something happened where they took the chip, she'd basically be in control of whoever had the AI already connected in their system, and clearly it's already connected physically, and so she would be there as the evil component, and then she'd take over and she could rule as the commander. So I feel like they might lead to that. That would be amazing if that was the finale, if she ended up in the body of the new commander and was like, I have complete control over all these people. That would be an amazing ending to this season. But definitely enjoyed this episode. Like I said, I don't think we'll lose Pike, or I don't think we'll lose Kane. I don't know why I keep mixing them up, but I don't think we'll lose Kane. Of course, I hope we don't lose Kane. Can't wait to see Pike go, because of course we know he's going to die at some point. And if he doesn't, I don't know what they could possibly do with him. They'd have to do something amazing. Like, it would have to be some great, great writing for me to believe that he changed and he wasn't killed off. Like, he just changed. Like, I finally see that I've been wrong. That doesn't seem like him. So if that happens, it's going to have to be great. But I have faith in the writers, because this show is just... Aside from the Bellamy thing, I can't admit, that was annoying. Like, despite how he felt about Montweather, it's just the simple fact that you knew they were there to protect you, and yet you slaughtered them. That's just dumb. No matter how you look at it, that's just stupid. Even if you feel like some death was your fault, you know that there are different clans. It's like, just for Bellamy in general, it was just really bad. For Pike, based on what they dealt with, it makes perfect sense. It's still wrong, but it makes sense that he would feel that way, and some of the other people, like Monty's mother. But for Bellamy, it's just like, and I said it from the beginning, it doesn't make sense that he'd have such a drastic switch. But I get why, like how they wrote it. I was like, I see what they wrote, but that shouldn't make you so dumb, whereas like, these people sent to protect us aren't. That doesn't make sense. But bit of hope. So I'm looking forward to him hopefully realizing that Pike is not the person he should be following, and he falls back in line with Kane. He does things the right way, and the smart, logical way, and we'll kind of get to see that pan out. And maybe he'll be the one to take down Pike, because it just makes sense, I guess. I don't know. But definitely want to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And of course, I have to ask, do you guys think we're going to lose Kane? And I would assume they're going to deal with that in the next episode, whether or not he'll actually, live or die. But want to know if you guys think we're going to lose Kane. I definitely want to know what you guys think will happen to Arcadia either way, because honestly, I feel like at this point, Arcadia is going to get destroyed regardless of who wins because of everything that's happened since Pike kind of came into the show. I think the stuff he's done has been so drastic, especially with Lexa gone now. Despite what she was like trying to teach, I don't think it'll matter. It's like, they're set, the grounders are set in their ways, and Pike has really gone against the grain of just being decent in general. So I doubt they'll destroy it, but I feel like they're gonna be in the battle no matter what towards the end of this season, regardless of whether or not Kane survives or Pike gets cast out or whatever. But I do want to know if you guys think we'll end up losing Kane, and of course what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.